Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan, and in today's video I'm going to be introducing you to my herd, all of the horses that I own, which will include my newest addition, Mage, who is a gypsy vanner. So first I want to start this video off with Rainbow. She is the horse that I have had the longest, and so she's also my oldest horse. And so she's the horse that you guys have seen before on the channel several times because I do have her in a lot of my videos. So Rainbow here is a BLM Mustang that I've had for 23 years, and she's about 27 years old. So she is an old girl. I have not been riding her for the last year, and it's really time for her to retire, which is why I moved on to getting the younger horses. So Rainbow's a BLM Mustang. That means that she was actually born wild and then was caught and put up for adoption. It's really common. Of course, this was a long time ago. Right now they have a lot of great perks for getting a BLM horse, and what I love the most about what they do now with the BLM horses is so they give you $1,000 to actually adopt a horse, but that's not just, you know, $1,000 for free and you own it and who knows what happens after that. They actually check up on the horse, I think like at 6 months, then at a year, and then I think maybe again a year after that, and then they actually sign the horse over to you and you own it. So I think that's really cool. I really like the adoption program that they have going for them now. Our modern horses are not native to North America, so the BLM Mustangs that are born wild, they are not actually supposed to be there. They are an invasive species, and so that means that they are going to not have all of the necessary requirements in order to survive out there, such as having enough vegetation and forage to sustain large herds. So in order to, to cut back on them dying in the wild from starvation and stuff like that, a lot of these horses are rounded up. Now, that's not to say that they don't do incredibly well in North America. Mustangs have really thrived. They are the descendants of Spanish horses that were released or got away from the conquistadors or other colonizers, and they breed in these extremely survivable traits into Mustangs. So typically Mustangs are going to have really great feet. They're going to keep their weight up really well, really easily. They're easy keepers and a lot of things like that. So it's actually a really interesting thing. I do talk more about Mustangs in some of my other videos, so be sure to check it out. So Rainbow's coat color is a bay, meaning she has a reddish body with a black mane and tail and black legs. Beautiful coloring. And this up here is an ICE brand, and that's one of the indications that it is a BLM Mustang, Bureau of Land Management, because they do put an ICE brand on the Mustangs that they capture. Like I said, I did ride Rainbow in the past, really not so much anymore. She is quite senior, but when I did ride Rainbow, for the most part, I rode her bareback. I ride English, Western, Australian and bareback, but pretty much always bareback with Rainbow, maybe a Western saddle once in a while, but just in case you're curious about that. And this here is Bellfire, who keeps getting out of the shot because he's so tall. Bellfire is 2 years old. I did a much longer video when I first got him, talking about what he is, where he comes from, so watch that if you want more details. Bellfire is a Rocky Mountain horse. It's a breed that's not very common. In fact, the Gypsy Vanner is actually probably more common than the Rocky Mountain. And what are you doing, huh? He's still really young. He is not trained to be ridden yet, but he is a lot closer to that than Mage. Bellfire's color is chocolate, and it's actually this dark body with the flaxen mane and tail. It's actually the most common color for Rocky Mountains. It's kind of the one that they're known for. And between that and grays, that's just my favorite color. Now, the reason that I picked a Rocky Mountain is because I was looking for a gaited breed, and someone told me about Rocky Mountains, I think actually on YouTube, and they're just such beautiful, amazing horses. And one of the things that I like the most about Rocky Mountains is that they are just considered like the golden retriever of horse breeds, because they are so friendly. He runs up to greet me every day, and I just love that. They're supposed to be really easy to train because they're very intelligent. I think they're a beautiful color, and he's going to be probably about 15 hands tall when he's full grown, so he is bigger than my Mustang, but he's just a really sweet horse that loves putting everything in his mouth because he is still pretty young, although I'm starting to think he might not grow out of that. Rocky Mountains do of course come in other colors, but they do have more strict regulations when it comes to markings than with some other breeds. So for example, you won't see Rocky Mountains that are paints, and they should have very minimum white. So they shouldn't have like big white stockings or a lot of white on the head. You can see Bellfire has a little star, but very little white. Bellfire is of course a gelding. I don't know if I mentioned that, and he was actually gelded before I got him, and I've had Bellfire since he was about 9 months old. He's really grown so much since I've had him. Mage here is a Gypsy Vanner, and he actually just turned 1 year old. I've owned him since he was about 8 months old, but I haven't actually had him for that long because he did come all the way from Canada and traveled, I think it was over 3,000 miles or something crazy like that, all the way down to Texas, and we are on the border of Mexico, so it was a very long distance that he traveled. It took him about 2.5 days to make the journey, and we used a transporter, so I didn't actually go to Canada myself, but we did get him transported down from Canada. So the reason I decided to go with a breeder that was so far is because I did look for a Gypsy Vanner for over a year, and I just was looking for quality above all else. And there was also a specific color that I wanted to go with that, and so when you attach your dream color with quality, it does take patience to be able to find the right one. So I was looking for a gray Gypsy Vanner, and that's not necessarily uncommon, but it's a little less common because the distinct color that everybody knows of that they usually come in is actually a paint, and usually black and white paint. But with the Gypsy Vanner breed, absolutely anything goes as far as color. So you have beautiful paints and also the solid colors. And personally, I am more of a fan of solid color horses, and gray is one of my top favorite colors. As I mentioned, chocolate and gray are my favorites. Like I was saying, quality was a huge thing that I was looking for, and Mage is exceptionally well bred. His parents are imports. His mother came from Ireland and his dad came from the UK. And his dad is actually SD Empire, who is a beautiful Gypsy Vanner stallion, if you guys are familiar with Gypsy Vanners. And with Mage, I did decide to have him gelded because that was just something that was going to work better for my situation. And what was that? And he's just really sweet and super nice. Still a baby, even though he looks huge, so he does still like to try to put everything in his mouth and do funny things and play with me. Yeah, he's just a silly baby still. A little bit more about Gypsy Vanners. I know that name is offensive to some, and that's why I feel kind of uncomfortable sometimes using it, but it is the most common breed name for them here in the United States. Another name for them is the Irish Cobb, and if you guys know of a better name that's being more commonly used or that's used in the UK, please let me know. But that's what we call them here. And to give you a little bit of background information about them, this is a breed that was created over in the UK throughout a lot of like Ireland and England, and this is the breed that was used to pull the wagons and carts for the Romanian people. And so that's kind of where they come from. They created this just amazing breed, and I think that the registries here in the United States have actually done a good job of keeping breed standard from where they came from and the people who were actually, I lose my train of thought with this, with the people that actually, what they wanted from the breed. I think here in the United States, the registry really does still promote those things. And what I love about the breed, what drew me to them, of course, is just the aesthetics. absolutely gorgeous breed, arguably one of the most beautiful horse breeds in the world. And what made me decide that, you know, Gypsy Vanner really was right for me is just the personality and overall behavior. They are exceptionally sweet horses. They are calm horses, most especially, just incredibly level-headed. They're not gonna just spook and completely freak out and go crazy. They're just a breed that is easygoing, intelligent, and those are all things that I like and all things that I want for my horses. So Mage here, I'll tell you a little bit about him. Like I said, his dad is SD Empire, beautiful, beautiful stallion. And he, though, did not come from River Lane Ranch. He actually came from Ponderosa Ridge Ranch. And she breeds just exceptional horses. You guys should definitely check it out if you ever are looking for a Gypsy Vanner. Mage here was actually a chestnut. He was born very red, very pretty, and he is great. So eventually he will be completely solid white. He's only a year old, and as you can see, it does not look like he was ever a chestnut. But his mother actually has only ever had grays. I guess it's a really strong gene with her. And gray was the color that I was looking for in Gypsy Vanner. And I just, I think that Mage comes from excellent lines. He looks beautiful and just everything that I wanted from a Gypsy Vanner. Now, of course, Mage can be trained to pull carts and carriages and wagons, but I am probably going to be using him more for riding. That's going to be the actual purpose. But it's something that I'm interested in. Although I don't really know anything about that, so it's something I'll have to learn about. One of the questions I actually think that I will get from this video, I'll try to answer now, and that is, why did I get horses from breeders instead of adopting horses? And of course, I totally agree. There are so many good horses in kill pens, and you can get really good horses that are not purebred. And there's a couple of different things to kind of address with that. First thing I want to say is that responsible breeders do not contribute to horses in kill pens. This is just like with dogs. It has become a huge issue in the horse world where backyard breeders are contributing to a lot of kill pen horses, or just people too that get horses and do not take care of them. And there's no restrictions or anything on breeding, and a lot of times people just breed horses without thinking of quality, what they're putting into the horses or anything like that. And they're just not even thinking about, you know, like, okay, this is a quarter horse and, you know, this one's a thoroughbred. It just doesn't matter. And they're breeding all sorts of horses, often for color or just because they're like, I like my horse, I want to breed it. It's the same as with dogs, if you're familiar with that issue in our country. And to address the issue of why I decided to go with breeders instead of rescuing a horse is mainly just because I really wanted to know what I was getting, and I was very particular about that. And it works for some people to just, you know, get a horse that's not going to have a lot of background and work with it. But with my time restriction and how much time I can put into my horses, I kind of just want to have an easier time going about it, whereas like with horses where you don't have the background, kill pen horses, getting a BLM Mustang, all of that, it does require a whole lot more on your part. And what I mean by that is time, and I don't have like that time to put into a horse like that. And I do kind of want to do a lot of that stuff more myself than actually paying somebody else to do it. And that's why I decided to go with breeds where I could pick specific characteristics and traits that were going to work really well for me and my husband. And I can tell you that there is a huge difference. And growing up, I did have a lot of horses and was around a lot of horses and worked with a lot of horses that had none of this background, none of these characteristics that were just, you know, bred into them, such as like being friendly, being level-headed, being calm and quiet. Just, you know, lots of random horses is what I kind of had to work with and interact with. And I can tell you there's a huge difference. And it is so different. Like, I will say that my Mustang has given me all of my horse skills. Like, she's the one that has taught me so much, and it has just been so I've learned so much from her because there was more difficulties and challenges that we faced with a horse like that. So yeah, I got a lot of the skill because of that. And I think you get a lot of skill from these horses that are more difficult. But now I'm kind of at a point in my life where I just want to take it a little easier, don't want to be complimented on my sticky seat, and just kind of want to get exactly what I want out of it, which, you know, knowing what characteristics I'm getting and things like that. It's a little hard to explain, I think, but I hope that that makes a little bit of sense. And it won't for everybody. Some people are very adamant about going for, like, you know, shelters and adopt, don't buy kind of thing. And I totally support that. And I get that. But it just doesn't work for everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a comment down below, subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me over on Instagram and TikTok for more videos like this.